The following is a production of Fenix Media. The views expressed do not necessarily represent those of the company or its advertisers and may contain language that's unsuitable for younger listeners.
Laugh it up, fuzzball.
I'm about to do to you what Limp Bizkit did to music in the late 90s.
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
Here goes the last DJ.
Gentlemen, I wash my hands of this business.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another brand new episode of the Kristian Fenix Radio Show. It is Friday, June 4th. We are your daily dose of laughs and levity in a crazy, crazy world. I'm joined by my co-host, the Savage One, Mr. Tony Spark. Tony, how you doing on this Friday?
Doing good, man. It is Friday, ready for the weekend. Even though I don't get the weekend off, I am looking forward to a day off in a few days. I'm already burned, but doing great, man. Nuggets eliminated the Trailblazers last night. LeBum James, the Suns sent him packing. He looked very upset. First time in his 18-year career that he got bounced in the first round.
No kidding.
So, yeah, they were the defending champs. So they're gone, and, yep. The Phoenix Suns come here to Denver to play, and then the Avs have Game 3 against the Vegas Golden Knights tonight. So, Avs, Nugs, supporting the Denver teams today, baby.
It's almost like they planned it, Avs game, Nuggets game, Avs game, Nuggets game, sort of alternating, so that way you didn't miss any of the fun playoff stuff.
Yeah, a lot of fun stuff, a lot of good highlights last night. I didn't get to watch the game, I worked, but good highlights to come home and watch. And, on a side note, the entertainment news, did not know Dr. Ruth was still alive. She looked like she was 92 back when we were kids. So totally surprised she was 92. A little morning shocker there, a little knowledge for the brain.
Well, and speaking, Dr. Ruth, obviously a sex therapist.
Hello, I got a little vibrating toy. It goes, make you feel good.
Maybe a little shocker in the morning is what the doctor calls for, if you know what I mean. Well, folks, let's go ahead and kick things off the way we do each and every day with a question for my co-host. Tony, if you were inadvertently sent back to 1981, obviously you weren't planning on going back, it's just you happened to be there, what would you do with your time back in time in 1981?
Oh, that's a great question because it's a great year. Number one, I'd go pop by the Carson Tahoe Hospital and peek in the little area to see little baby Tony in the little waiting room there. That'd be pretty cool. See my young parents right there. See either how happy they were or how damn it was a girl or it was a boy. We wanted a girl. Son of a bitch. That would have been kind of cool to see if that really happened. I doubt it, but it would have been funny. Or I'd go back in time and down to San Francisco and try to catch early Metallica shows back when they started in the garage band, and then head down to Sunset Strip, catch Motley Crue in their beginning. So, same year, 81, Motley and Metallica. So, and the birth of us, you, me, and Adam, it's all. 81 was a great year.
Was a good year, yeah.
It was a great year. So there'd be a lot of things. Those would be a handful of things. See, I had more interaction with you for that year. But please tell me what some psycho nut job that's gonna shock us.
A story fit for a Friday. Well, it may sound like a soap opera, but Paul Devlin insists there was nothing fictitious about his dalliance with terrifying time travel. Paul Devlin claims he was inexplicably sucked into a vortex on the London Underground during his daily commute and ended up roughly 40 years in the past. He says he got off the tube at Victoria and was immediately unnerved as something was amiss. Paul, a Buddhist priest and real-life exorcist, noticed the atmosphere felt different and was struck by how empty it was despite it being rush hour. So I'll already give you a look into who this guy is.
Buddhist priest.
Weirdly, the usually filthy escalators were also pristine. He recalled the creepy time slip on the YouTube show The Angel and the Exorcist. Speaking to psychic Samantha Jane, he said, I got off the London Victoria, as I did every single week, and turned up at the escalators. On this day, they were beautiful with ceramic tiles. They were like brand new escalators. The station, one of the busiest on the network, was almost empty, apart from one passenger on the opposite escalator who looked at him with an expression of complete shock. He described him as wearing a denim cap and matching jacket, much to the amusement of Samantha, who jokingly cited them taking style inspiration from boy band bros. Paul said, this guy gave me a look as if to say, you're dressed funny. I came to the top of the escalator and there was a glass dome and everything was silent, no sound at all. Paul added, as I walked out, I realized very quickly I'm not in my time. Feeling himself fall into a panic, he thought, I need to go back to where I was. I need to get back to the platform. Explaining how he got back to the present day, he told Samantha he had the idea that if he could leave, then come back to the station, he might be able to jump back into his home dimension. Paul explained, my theory was if I went up the train line, changed and got back on, it would change the timeline. He took a train to Pimlico before turning back, noting that the train was empty, but then something truly odd happened. Paul claimed, as we came back toward London Victoria, people just randomly started to appear on the train until the train was full. I got off and was so happy to see a dirty escalator. Wow.
When this train hits 88 miles per hour, you're going to see some serious shit.
Right?
We got to get back in time. What was his name?
Paul Devlin.
We got to get back in time, Paul. The space-time continuum holds up on your hands. We got to get to platform 9 3/4. We got to talk to Harry. We got to get past Hogwarts. We got to do this to get back to the dirty escalator. Just that kid is on the goddamn escalator.
My guess is that he probably wrote it on a holiday when people were off, got off, noticed somebody who was wearing some sort of 1980s retro style and figured, oh my God, I'm back in 1981.
Dude, was he hanging with Seth Rogen when writing about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
Probably.
Okay, look, I don't mean to shit on anybody's parade, but I believe in a lot of weird things, and as much as I'd like to think time travel's a thing, I don't think it's a thing.
You don't believe Paul Devlin, the Buddhist exorcist? I'm shocked.
Buddhist priest, come on. I'm the Buddhist priest. The time-traveling Buddhist priest who listens to Judas Priest, and I'm living after midnight, baby!
Well, folks, it is Friday. We've got a wonderful show lined up for you today. Let's talk about today's show, shall we?
It's Friday, gotta get down on Friday. Everybody's looking forward to the weekend.
We're looking forward to the weekend, but not before we bring you guys good news, everyone. We've got a segment we're revisiting called Today Years Old, and we round out the day with This Day in History.
Great Scott!
Do not go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Behold my precious. Ooh, yeah, let me tell you something right here. It's the Loot Crate subscription box, yeah, full of exclusive loot, fun surprises delivered to your door every month.
Just pick up your favorite geeky genre, Daddy.
From the original Loot Crate, the Loot Crate DX collectible boxes, dude! Cowabunga!
To the Loot Gaming video game box.
Woohoo! Yee-hoo! Wowzers! With crits starting as low as $11.99 per month, there's a box just about for all collectors.
To get your geek on, head over to phoenixmedia.us/Loot Crate and claim your exclusive offer. That's FENIX media.us/Loot Crate. Great Scott!
Snap into a Loot Crate, dig it?
I spend a lot of time in the backyard, and I'm the center of attention at summer barbecues. In '96, I made some of the tastiest s'mores. And in '09, it was me, your backyard fire pit, that accidentally started a wildfire when a summer breeze carried one of my embers into some dry brush.
Spark a change, not a wildfire. Visit SmokeyBear.com, brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Hope you enjoyed your meal. And I just want to say, he's lucky to have a brother like you.
Lucky? Caring for my brother is far from easy. But he's a part of me, like my arms and legs, so I'll be his. No time for tired. Nothing can disable this love. He needs me, but I'm the lucky one, even though I need help now and then.
If you're caring for a loved one, visit aarp.org/caregiving for care guides and community. Support for your strength. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
What if I told you that a tornado was going to happen tomorrow, right where you live? That it would touch down at exactly 3:17 p.m., and I told you the exact path it would take. You would, of course, prepare. You would talk with your loved ones, and you'd make a plan today. It's true, I can't tell you a tornado will strike tomorrow, but shouldn't you have a plan anyway? Go to ready.gov/communicate and make your emergency plan today. Don't wait. Communicate. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
This is Mario Andretti. You know me as a race car driver, but I'm also a Meals on Wheels volunteer. I've raced against the sport's biggest personalities, but I've never met more vibrant, amazing people than the seniors served by Meals on Wheels. You can make a difference by dropping off a hot meal and saying a quick hello. So, America, let's do lunch. Volunteer your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Fenix Media. Listen live and explore more great shows at phoenixmedia.us. Get everything you need for the Kristian Fenix Radio Show over at phoenixmedia.us or on Facebook at facebook.com/Fenix Media Radio. Now back to the show. And we are back, folks. This is the Kristian Fenix Radio Show. We've got a little thing we talk about each show called the Fenix Line, our 24-hour-a-day, 7-day-a-week voicemail line, giving you guys the opportunity to chime in on anything whatsoever. Maybe you are a Buddhist exorcist who traveled back in time to 1981. We definitely want to hear about that. Give us a call at 855-FENIX-RADIO, that's 855-FENIX-RDIO, or 855-336-4973. All we ask is that you keep it entertaining. We'll compile those together, put them out in a future show. Now, it is Friday, and as we do on Fridays, we like to turn the table on all of the hate, bad news, vitriol, divisiveness that's out there with a segment that I like to call...
Good news, everyone!
So kicking things off, April was Autism Awareness Month, a time to learn more about the disorder and those living with it. But for Tiffany Hammond, who lives with autism, that month can feel overwhelming. I'm just always hit with the reminders of how hard life is. These are red flags, symptoms, all the bad stuff, Hammond tells Yahoo Life. It's hardly ever like positive. We're people. We have happy, positive things that go in our lives. I think that should be celebrated as well. Autism spectrum disorder, or ASD, may impact social skills, repetitive behaviors, speech, and verbal communication. The CDC estimates that autism impacts 1 in 54 children in the United States. Hammond recalls being diagnosed with autism during college and initially rejecting the news. I took the paper, I put it in the drawer, and shut it. I just kind of tried to go on with my life, she said. It wasn't until her son Aiden was diagnosed with autism at 17 months old that she started to learn more about the disorder. 2 years later, her son Josiah was born and also later diagnosed with autism. As Hammond learned more about how to help her sons, it reignited her desire to learn more about her own diagnosis. I was just helping them through their challenges. It was bringing a lot more of my challenges to the surface. I was not handling it well, says Hammond. When she started an Instagram called Fidgets and Fries to share her family's journey, Hammond discovered the autism community that didn't exist when she was originally diagnosed at 18. Last year, she got a second autism diagnosis in a quest to learn and understand herself better. Society pretty much dismisses and ignores the voices of autistic people. That's what makes my life more difficult. It isn't really autism itself, it's living within a society with a brain that differs from the norm, Hammond says. Hammond and her husband are raising their 2 sons to be their authentic selves in a society that doesn't understand neurodiversity. Her son Aiden is 14, nonverbal, and uses communication device to express his feelings and needs. Her youngest son, Josiah, who's now 12, is what many would consider to be high functioning, though Hammond rejects the labels placed on those in the autism community, calling them limiting and inaccurate. My oldest is what a lot of people would consider severe. There are so many things that he's good at that I'm not good at. He's incredibly bold and brave and sociable. I struggle in those areas and he doesn't, says Hammond. My youngest, who everyone considers to be high functioning, he struggles in so many ways that my oldest does not. You meet me on a Monday, I might be severe to you. And then you see me again on a Tuesday and I'm high functioning. We can't place the whole of a person in a box, like we are so much more. It's very much misunderstood, Hammond adds. The lack of understanding about autism can have negative effects on those living with the disorder. Hammond sees young white boys on hit shows like The Good Doctor, Young Sheldon, and Atypical, and feels like the conversation only recognizes one group, leaving black and brown people struggling to find resources. A CDC report on autism found that fewer black and Hispanic children were identified with ASD, likely due to stigma, lack of access to health care services, or low income. An American Academy of Pediatrics, boy, that's a hard word to say, pediatrics study found that black children with autism are diagnosed an average of 3 years after their parents expressed initial concerns. We looked at like our skin itself, it considered maladaptive, like we are just behavior problems, says Hammond. In the larger community, Hammond says she has struggled to feel included. At autism events, her family is usually the only one of a few black families. At times, she feels like a prop that organizations use to show diversity without acknowledging or addressing the intersectional issues that limit crucial access to resources. So, Mrs. Hammond, obviously, she's come out, talk about autism and the struggles that, her family and other people with autism deal with. And, it is one of those things that back when we were kids, autism really didn't exist. So,
No.
Being that it's brought more to the forefront, that it's being addressed, and actually I have a meeting later on today with an autism group. It's great to see how society is changing to help accommodate those with autism or maybe on the spectrum. And, it's good to see where society is coming based on where we were even 30, 40 years ago.
Oh, absolutely. It's fantastic that there's more awareness of it now. Growing up, we had, you didn't even have ADD, like you had, I'm sure a lot of kids had that, and.
Yeah, it was hyperactive disorders, and they gave kids Ritalin, and that was sort of the cure-all for all of it. And luckily now there are multiple treatment paths, whether it's pharmaceutical or psychology or just, community support.
Yeah, definitely. So that's good that there's a spotlight on it, and good on Hammond there. And every time you said Josiah, though, I kept thinking of my coworker, Josiah. It's like the only time I've ever heard that name. So
not the same unless he's 12 and has autism.
Well, he could be, and he could be. No, I'm just kidding. He's neither.
Well, regardless, that's my
good news, everyone.
My good news definitely is it's not lengthy. I tried to find a lengthier version of this story because it was just kind of a blip. So it kind of looked. So I found the most stretched out version I could find to fill the segment. So this one is a brave 7-year-old swims 1 hour to shore to save his dad and sister who were stranded in the river. The 4-year-old girl and her father had drifted nearly a mile away from the boat and were found after more than an hour of searching due to strong currents. Brave 7-year-old managed to save the lives of the father and sister after a boating accident caused them to float adrift. The children's father, Stephen Poust, had taken his children Chase and Abigail to the St. Johns River in Jacksonville, Florida over Memorial Day weekend for a swim. Poust anchored his boat and was fishing while the kids splashed around the water. There was a strong current in the water that caused the 4-year-old Abigail to let go of the boat. Chase decided to let go of the boat as well to try and keep his little sister from drifting away. Post said that his daughter usually hung out by the back of the boat, but had to let go because of how strong the current was. Chase, who had to let also got stuck. Seeing his kids in danger, Paus jumped in the water and went after them. He reached his children and managed to free Chase from the current. He asked his son to swim to the shore while he helped his sister, who was thankfully wearing a life jacket. Chase swam for nearly an hour to reach the shore. He floated on his back and doggy paddled so he wouldn't get worn out. When he made it to land, he ran to the nearest house for help. I told them both I loved them because I wasn't sure what was going to happen, Prowse said. I tried to stick with her as long as I could, Stephen recalled. I wore myself out and she drifted away from me. Abigail floated with the current because of the life jacket. Prowse and Chase were not wearing life jackets because it was not required by law. I felt really scared, Chase said, but was still quick on his feet. The Jacksonville Fire and Rescue Department and Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission arrived to rescue Chase's father and sister. The authorities arrived at the location to find an empty boat, fishing poles, and kids' shoes in the water. I screamed for help at the top of my lungs and waved my arms, and sure enough, somebody heard us, Prowse said. Little man also made it to shore and got help, and that's what saved our lives. According to Eric Proswimmer, spokesperson for JFRD, the little girl and her father had drifted nearly a mile away from the boat. The search took them almost an hour and a half. The current got a hold of them, moved the boat, and started separating them. Dad went after the 4-year-old, and it turns out the 7-year-old ended up swimming to shore. They were found and rescued. The children were transported to a nearby hospital as precautionary measure. All 3 of them are doing well. Chase is being hailed as a hero, and rightfully so. We're here by the grace of God. We're here. That's what it says. Okay. Prowse said, acknowledged how fortunate they were to have made it out of the situation in one piece. When Chase was asked about how he became such a skilled swimmer, the brave little boy said, I have no idea. Pro swimmer noted the rescue could have gone awry if it wasn't for the collected efforts of all his colleagues. We had every resource we could have possibly had coming quickly, and we're still happy to have all 3 have been recovered. All 3 are doing well. We couldn't ask for a better outcome. He reminded everybody on the water and anybody that goes to the water, be safe and smart. The law about wearing a safety vest is applicable only to children aged 6 and under for a vessel that's under 26, which was why neither Prowse nor Chase had a vest on. So little dude, like, that's awesome that he didn't know how he just went to action. For the dad, unfortunately, I don't want to make it a bad story, but I would, even if it's not required by law, I would still put a safety vest on both my kids and myself, because even you could be the most skilled swimmer, and if a current gets you or the weather takes a turn for the worse, there's no telling what kind of catastrophe could happen. The water's dangerous, whether you're skilled or not. But awesome that this little guy, utilized doggy paddling and swimming on his back in a current to get to shore and stay calm to save his brother or his dad and his sister, and I can only imagine the father was super panicked, especially, with his daughter being out there and then hoping that his son is okay. He's kind of putting their lives in his son's hands. So great outcome, but could have definitely went another way. But awesome story, man. Yeah, he looks super happy. He's all smiles and
I'm sure the father will be putting on life jackets for him from here on out.
They probably are not going back to the water anytime soon, I would imagine. Exactly. I got a feeling this summer the water is like local pools or something. I'm not sensing that the St. Johns River is a destination for this family.
Yeah, not anytime soon. And oddly enough, that was the story I pulled as my backup. So luckily we didn't have to, try and stretch for time. So
yeah, and I found that was the most stretched out one. The normal CNN one was just a real basic, like 2 paragraphs. It was like, oh, okay.
Regardless, I'd say it qualifies as
good news, everyone.
Well, folks, we are going to head into our break. When we come back, we've got a segment called Today Years Old. So don't go anywhere. We'll see you in a few.
Okay, what are you wearing right now?
Nothing.
That's right. So mommy's gonna teach you how to dress yourself. Underwear always comes first, name tag at the back, then pants, then shirt. Get the first button in the right hole or you have to start all over. Socks going first, then shoes, right on right, left on left. With shoelaces, just take the ends, cross them over, switch the loops, the rabbit goes down the hole, pull tight, and you're left with bunny ears. Got it? Why are your pants on your head?
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush their teeth is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. Visit 2min2x.org to find out more. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives, and the Ad Council.
This message is for all of you sitting in the passenger seat. And apologies if it gets a little uncomfortable. But how does it feel to be at the mercy of someone who thinks a random text is more important than your life? Someone who takes their eyes off the road while speeding along in a 3-ton hunk of steel. Freaky, right? Well, why not just ask them to stop? Or better yet, volunteer to text for them. It might be a little awkward, but believe me, you'll live.
Learn more at stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
We are live outside the home of Joe and Rosie Goddard, where a pretty big tickle fight broke out just minutes ago. Sources say their father instigated the laughter. Let's go inside for a comment. Apparently, they have no comment. Dads, let this be a reminder that it only takes a moment to make a moment. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
How's it going? I'm having a stroke. Are you going to shake my hand? I'm having a stroke. Wow, you're not even moving your arm. I'm having a stroke.
When someone is having a stroke, they may not be able to say it with words, but their body language will tell you loud and clear. Look for FAST. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911 immediately. Know the sudden signs. Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
Hello, Kubo. What have you got planned for today?
Come on, this way.
Adventure can be found anywhere, but the best place to start is in the forest.
It's the most powerful magic there is.
Head outside to discover incredible animals.
Wow.
And beautiful plants that come together to create an unforgettable adventure. So grab your loved ones and explore a world of possibilities. Visit discovertheforest.org to find the closest forest or park to you. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the U.S. Forest Service.
My teacher said that we should have a plan in case of an emergency. Do we have one?
First thing I'm gonna do is grab a flashlight with dead batteries.
I'm going to start randomly throwing clothes in the bag. You two will be hiding in the closet and Dad won't be able to find you.
And that's when we both start crying.
Uncontrollably. Can you pass the cutlets?
Winging it is not an emergency plan. Make sure your kids know what to do during an emergency, who to call, where to meet, what to pack. Search Ready Kids at nyc.gov or call 311. Brought to you by the New York City Office of Emergency Management and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Fenix Media. Listen live and explore more great shows at phoenixmedia.us. Get everything you need for the Kristian Fenix Radio Show over at phoenixmedia.us or on Facebook at facebook.com/Fenix Media Radio. Now back to the show. Indeed. This is the Kristian Fenix Radio Show, and we are all over social media with many of you watching us as we speak on Facebook Live or YouTube Live. Now, you can also enjoy us from the comfort of your own home or on the go with the NGBN.TV app. Just download it on your smartphone or mobile device. You can watch this and other great Fenix Media shows as well. Now, if you want to get a hold of me on social, I'm available at facebook.com/Kristian Fenix Radio. That's Kristian with a K, Fenix with an F, radio, of course, with an R, or on Instagram and Twitter at Fenix Media Radio. Tony's available at facebook.com/Tony Spark. That's SPARK81, or on Instagram at Tony.Sanfilippo81. Now, something that we like to do every once in a while is a segment that I like to call Today Years Old. These are facts that, we were basically today years old when we learned about, and hopefully is the same for you as well, because, we like to educate a little bit here on the show. So, Tony,
just a little.
Exactly. I'm going to run down these facts and let me know if you were today years old when you learned them as well. For instance, this one. I was today years old when I learned that a park bench in Bristol was given an official postal address so doctors could register the homeless as patients.
That's the fact, Jack!
No, I did not know that.
You make like a tree and get out of here.
Yep. Had no idea that was a thing.
That's why we did it. All right, moving on with today years old. I was today years old when I learned that U.S. Airways kicked a blind man and his dog off a plane in 2013 after the dog repositioned itself during a 2-hour delay. They canceled the flight after passengers disembarked in protest, saying the flight attendant responsible would be kicked off instead of the man and his service dog.
That's the fact, Jack!
That's kind of a random fact.
What a pity.
That's too bad for that guy and the dog, though.
Dick move for the flight attendant, but nice to see that the rest of the passengers had his back.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the
Get
dog
the attendant out of here. We like the dog. He's awesome.
And
That was the flight attendant. He's very pissed.
And it was a cute golden retriever. How could you get mad?
Right.
All right, moving on. I was today years old when I learned that during World War I, the MI5 used Girl Guides to deliver secret messages. They used Girl Guides instead of Boy Scouts because they found that Boy Scouts weren't efficient enough, boisterous, or talkative enough.
That's the fact, Jack!
That's pretty cool.
Since when did you become the physical type?
Yeah, I don't know.
There you go. Get some Girl Scout cookies and some state secrets all at the same time.
Girl Scout cookies, would you like to divulge any secrets? Oh, you would? Awesome. Thank you.
Thin Mints are the best.
Yeah.
That's no secret.
They really are. They are pretty awesome.
Let's keep moving on. Today I learned that Fermilab used.
Words are always hard.
Fermilab used to clean its particle accelerators with a ferret named Felicia, who would run through the tubes with cleaning supplies attached and be rewarded with hamburger meat.
That's the fact, Jack!
Hey, that's one way to do it, you know. I'd be more concerned about, the ferret leaving some hair behind, especially if it was in a particle accelerator. What's sort of black hole?
Bye, Felicia.
Yeah. Jeez. Felicia the ferret. Okay.
Let's keep moving on. I was today years old when I learned that at the age of 17, Steven Spielberg directed a sci-fi film called Firelight. The budget was $500, and it was shown at a local cinema with 500 people coming and tickets costing $1 each. However, one person paid $2, so the movie made $1 total, making it Spielberg's first commercial success.
That's the fact, Jack!
Big time money. I've never heard of it, and it's awesome, man. Legendary filmmaker. You had to start somewhere. So
yeah, and from what I understand about him, he used to take Super 8 cameras and make films with his friends, in middle school and high school, and then this was the first one that was actually premiered, and he made a whole $1 on it. Sad to see he didn't make much money beyond that, right?
No, absolutely, yeah. He went on to have a miserable career too.
Total obscurity.
Miserable.
Let's keep rolling on. I was today years old when I learned that in 1911, the Rigby family included their cat Tom in their census form. Tom Cat was listed as being 8 years old, married mouse catcher, soloist, and thief with 16 children. His birthplace was listed as Cheshire, and he was described as being speechless in the infirmity section of the form.
That's the fact, Jack!
That shouldn't have been allowed to be in there, but
no.
Oh, good for you.
Good for Tomcat there, though.
Yeah, and we wonder why, voting.
Did he vote too? Yeah.
Exactly. All right, let's keep rolling on. I was today years old when I learned that Japanese doctor Tetsu Nakamura devoted his life revitalizing deserts in Afghanistan, making forests and wheat farmland, and contributing to peace. Nakamura was decorated with the Japanese Order of the Rising Sun and Afghan National Medal.
That's the fact, Jack!
Never heard of him.
No, and strange that somebody from Japan would take such an interest in a place like Afghanistan to try and reforest and make it farmland. But good on him.
Yeah, good job, Shinsuke.
Moving on, talking about things that we were today years old when we learned. For instance, I learned that Mesopotamians figured out that the Earth orbited around the sun about 1,700 years before Copernicus and Newton. They also figured out that the moon causes the tides and that the Earth rotates around an axis.
That's the fact, Jack!
That's my dog Copernicus, and he time traveled inside the 9 3/4 bullet train
And took you back to 1981. That was my dog Copernicus. More you know.
I'm amazed by the fact that, okay, the Mesopotamians figured this out thousands upon, thousands of years ago, and we still have people that believe the earth is flat.
It is flat.
It doesn't make sense.
It's flat.
Oh, moving on. I was today years old when I learned that anatomically, dogs have 2 arms and 2 legs, not 4 legs. The front legs, also known as the arms, have wrist joints and are connected to the skeleton by muscle, and the back legs have hip joints and kneecaps.
That's the fact, Jack!
Did not know that.
See? You
that is good on the doggies.
Exactly. All right, rolling on. I was today years old when I learned that in 2009, Icelandic engineers accidentally drilled into a magma chamber with a temperature of up to 1,832 degrees Fahrenheit. Instead of abandoning the well like a previous project in Hawaii, they decided to pump water down and became the most powerful geothermal well ever created.
That's the fact, Jack!
We accidentally busted it and we found liquid hot magma. So we had to drill a hole to fill the water to make it most powerful operating thing of all time.
I heard that preparations A through G didn't work, but preparation H was what they needed on the whole.
It does feel nice on the whole. It works rather well. Yeah, doctor.
Moving on. I was today years old when I learned that although Wayne's World was released in 1992 after Freddie Mercury died, he got to see the car headbanging scene featuring Bohemian Rhapsody shortly before he passed away on November 24th, 1991. He loved it and foresaw how the use of the song would ignite a comeback for Queen in the United States.
That's the fact, Jack!
And he was certainly right.
Yeah, he was right. That was actually the first time I heard Bohemian Rhapsody was Wayne's World.
Me too.
I never had heard of it before. That might have actually been... that might have been the first time I heard... I heard We Will Rock You. I heard stuff like that.
But, and commercials played Another One Bites the Dust.
Yeah, but for Bohemian Rhapsody, definitely the first time I heard that.
All right, and then finally in this segment, I was today years old when I learned that The Godfather's famous cat and lap scene was entirely unscripted. A stray cat randomly wandered onto the set, so Coppola grabbed it and put it in Marlon Brando's lap without a word.
That's the fact, Jack!
Interesting. And now it's an iconic scene image. You think of Marlon Brando in The Godfather, and he's holding that cat.
This is my cat, okay? I have no idea why this cat is in here, but this is my cat. I make an offer you can't refuse, right, kitty?
Well, folks, that does it for this segment. We are headed into the final segment of the show, final segment of the week. Yes, it's time for This Day in History. Don't go anywhere. We'll see you guys in a few.
This is Mario Andretti. You know me as a race car driver, but I'm also a Meals on Wheels volunteer. I've raced against the sport's biggest personalities, but I've never met more vibrant, amazing people than the seniors served by Meals on Wheels. You can make a difference by dropping off a hot meal and saying a quick hello. So, America, let's do lunch. Volunteer your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
People been saying to your friend, get a different face, and posting on their feed, they're super ugly. The things they say to them online are cruel and they're not true. So tell your friend, I'll stand up for you. Don't worry, I know what to do.
Know someone being bullied online? You can be a witness and make a difference by letting the world know it isn't cool and by letting your friend know you care. Learn more at eyewitnessbullying.org, brought to you by the Ad Council.
Hope you enjoyed your meal. And I just want to say, he's lucky to have a brother like you.
Lucky? Caring for my brother is far from easy. But he's a part of me, like my arms and legs, so I'll be his. No time for tired. Nothing can disable this love. He needs me, but I'm the lucky one, even though I need help now and then.
If you're caring for a loved one, visit aarp.org/caregiving for care guides and community. Support for your strength. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Allison is perfect. I mean, she'd never tell you that. She's humble and perfect. She likes everyone. She even likes her untidy roommate's weird guinea pig. Allison, wait, are you? Texting and driving? Allison, no. That's the exact opposite of what I was just saying about you. Why, Allison? Why? Texting and driving makes good people look bad. Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org, brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
I'm Paul George of the Indiana Pacers. When I was 6, my days were spent playing basketball. When I was 6, my dream was to make it to the NBA. When I was 6, my mom had a stroke. So I want you to learn to spot a stroke fast. F-A-S-T. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911. I'm Paul George. Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
My name is Lola Silvestri, and I'm going to be 95 this year. I was very independent. I fell, and I had to have Meals on Wheels. America, let's do lunch.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer for Meals on Wheels by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org. This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Fenix Media. Listen live and explore more great shows at phoenixmedia.us. Get everything you need for the Kristian Fenix radio show over at phoenixmedia.us or on Facebook at facebook.com/Fenix Media Radio. Now back to the show. Well, folks, we did it. We made it to not only the final segment of the show, but the final segment of the week as well, here on the Kristian Fenix radio show. But if you missed a portion of the show or you want to go back and catch up on any of the previous shows, it's easy enough to do so. Head over to phoenixmedia.us, click on the show's link, scroll on down to the Kristian Fenix radio show. From there, you can get video, you can get audio as well, or head over to wherever you get podcasts. Apple, Google, Stitcher, Spotify, Anchor, Breaker, TuneIn, iHeart, Doozer, Dozer, Geezer, Gozer.
Are you a god?
Yeah. I had nothing this time. I didn't even hunt for a soundbite during that break. I just hit movies there. I was like, okay, that looks like it's the funniest. I was just glad it wasn't a cuss word or anything.
Exactly.
Normally I sample it, you know.
Well, folks, while you're there, be sure to subscribe. That way you always have the latest episode. Leave a review. Let us know what you think. And tell your friends, because why, Tony?
Sharing is caring. Like, subscribe, spread us around, share us on your Facebook page, your Twitter, your Instagram, whatever. Put it out there. Yeah.
Spark that interest.
Well, spark it. I like it.
Folks, as we do at the end of each show, we like to drop a little knowledge on you, hopefully make you laugh at the same time. It is time for This Day in History.
Traversing the globe for the stories that turn the world on its head. It's This Day in History with your correspondent on the beat,
Kristian Fenix.
Thank you, Siri. All right, kicking things off this day in 1615 was the Siege of Osaka. Forces under the shogun Tokugawa Ieyasu take Osaka Castle in Japan. And Tony, if you're looking at the picture, does it not look like he has a giant black sex toy on the top of his head?
He does. I have a Shinsuke Shogun on my head, and it's got the little rainbow behind it, too. It does. It looks like a Wang Danger.
Yeah. It totally does.
It really does.
Yep. He's got a BBC on his head. All right, moving on this day in 1745.
In the BBC, yeah.
The Battle of Hohenfriedberg-Silesia. Frederick the Great of Prussia defeats Austrians and Saxons. And of course, yeah, if you're looking at the picture, which only Tony is, it looks like you caught this guy by surprise.
Whoa, I did not mean we won? How did we win? Oh, because I'm Frederick the Great. That's why.
I wonder if he gave himself that name. Rolling on this day in 1887, the Pasteur Institute, founded by French biologist Louis Pasteur in Paris, is opened. Tony, do you remember what Louis Pasteur created, what process he created?
I don't.
I'll give you a hint. His last name has a lot to do with it.
Oh, poop.
Nope.
Pasture. Out to pasture.
pasteurization. So, the fact that we can keep milk longer and liquids, and that's what he did. He figured out how to keep.
I gotta find a way to make my curdled milk not be so curdly. Damn it, Gertrude. We need to make it better.
Chunky milk. Moving on, this day in 1896, Henry Ford takes his first Ford through the streets of Detroit. Could you imagine, you're used to horse and buggies, and all of a sudden you see this motorized contraption that's not being pulled by a horse for the very first time? You would have thought witches are taking over.
Yeah, what's he doing? I called the Ford! Found on road dead will never be the term for my car. Keep, keep. Ah! Mario!
Fast forward 100 years later.
Yeah.
All right.
Damn it, I'm on the side of the road again.
Moving on, this day in 1913, English suffragette Emily Davison dies after throwing herself in front of King George V's horse, Anmer, during running of the Derby at Epsom.
Fatality.
That's one way to get somebody's attention.
Yeah, so she became Salt, huh?
She did.
Epsom Salt. He looks like Tim Curry in that picture.
Oh, he totally does. Well, not current day Tim Curry, because
no, but like back in the 80s Tim Curry.
Ooh, like Tim Curry.
Yep.
Let's move on. This day in 1934, Dr. Frederick Banting, co-discoverer of insulin, is knighted. Boy, yeah, you discover a life-saving treatment, and I guess that's to get you.
I'm Sir Frederick Banting, and you will get your vaccination. Who's next? Because the sir is in the house.
There you go.
And apparently I talked like Adam Sandler back then, too. I am Sir Frederick Banting, and you will get your insulin, right?
We're back to Hubie Halloween.
Oh, buddy.
Moving on, this day in 1964, LA Dodgers pitcher Sandy Koufax tosses his third career no-hitter, beats the Phillies 3-0 in Philadelphia, probably marking a very boring game.
Probably. I'm Sandy Koufax. I also talk like Hubie Halloween, and after my third career no-hitter, and I beat the Phillies 3-0. It was quite a game. There was a lot of peanuts and Cracker Jacks in stands. That's right. Sandy Koufax, and thanks for listening.
You know what I found out? Just odd side tangent. The organs that are played during baseball games, that didn't start till the 1970s.
Really?
Yeah,
I would have picked the 60s for that.
I would have picked like the 1910s, with as popular as baseball was back then.
Yeah. Did you see, I know it ain't going to make the news, but did you see 1967? Reno made the news.
Really? Let's see.
Yeah.
KTVN TV, Channel 2 in Reno begins broadcasting.
Whoopity-doo! Is it still on air?
It is. Moving on, this day in
KTVN.
This day in 1969, the Beatles released The Ballad of John and Yoko and Old Brown Shoe in the U.S. And of course, with The Ballad of John and Yoko, that should have been the writing on the wall for the end of the Beatles.
This is the end. We're going to watch a song. It's called John and Yoko. John loves Yoko. Yoko loves John. Oh, they're going to break up this big, ugly band. Yo, we are going to have bad British accents and careers. Let's write a song about an old brown shoe, too.
Boy, if that was the melody, I think Frank Sinatra would have words with them. So, moving on, this day in 1979, Joe Clark is sworn in as the youngest prime minister in Canadian history. Now, my question is was he younger than Trudeau was when he was sworn in?
I don't know. It doesn't even say how young he was.
It doesn't. We need more information, people.
Hey, I'm the youngest. Hey, I don't know. That's a bad Canadian accent. It was bad British. Oof. I need to listen to this stuff beforehand. Oof.
There you go.
That was bad.
This day in 1984, the 1960 champion Arnold Palmer fails to qualify for the U.S. Open Golf Championship for the first time in 32 years. I wonder if that's when he went to go drown his sorrows and made the wonderful creation of an Arnold Palmer half lemonade, half iced tea.
Yep, he probably did. Not bad. Look, LeBron, Arnold Palmer failed to do something too. It happens to the best of us, bud.
Yep. This day in 1984, Columbia Records releases Born in the USA, the seventh studio album from Bruce Springsteen. His biggest commercial success, topped the charts in 11 countries and sold over 30 million copies worldwide. And I'm not ashamed to admit it, I'm not a Bruce Springsteen fan.
No, I'm not either. But I like Columbia House. They fueled me with hours and hours of music of free CDs.
Oh,
Thanks,
yeah.
Columbia House.
Or 1 penny CDs.
Yeah, I never paid the penny.
Moving on, this day in 1988, Rickey Henderson steals 2 bases for a record of 249 as a New York Yankee. He was fun to watch steal bases. That guy moves like lightning.
One of my favorite baseball players of all time. I loved him when he was on the A's. That's when I was more behind Rickey Henderson. But he did float around because he played ball forever. If he could, he probably would come back today and play baseball.
Oh, I don't doubt it.
Yeah.
Let's keep rolling on. This day in 1990, Dr. Jack Kevorkian assists an Oregon woman to commit suicide, beginning a national debate over the right to die.
Fatality.
It's okay. You want to die? I will assist you at death. But don't worry. I'm not making you do it. I'm just encouraging it. Look at my teeth on Dr. Kevorkian.
That's a creepy representation of a very creepy. Moving on, this day in 2002, Canadian singer Avril Lavigne releases her debut album, Let Go.
That is Mike Yendra's super crush. He wasn't married to Lacey. It'd be Avril.
And then finally, this day in history, this day in 2018, former U.S. President Bill Clinton, in an interview with NBC, says that he hasn't and doesn't need to apologize to Monica Lewinsky.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman. She didn't give me a BJ. She gave me a heebie-jeebie, rubby, good times had by all.
Speaking of good times, let's go ahead and run down some of today's holidays, where we talk about the things that we like to celebrate. Actually, a lot of bummer ones in here. Today is Audacity to Hope Day. How dare you, Hope Tone?
Yes, never have hope.
Hug an Atheist Day.
How about no? Maybe a Crisp Pie 5 or something.
Hug Your Cat Day. Okay.
Okay.
International Day of Innocent Children Victims of Aggression. That's kind of depressing.
Mm-hmm.
It is National Cognac Day. One way to deal with that. Mm-hmm. It is National Donut Day, Tone. Ooh.
I like donuts.
I do too.
I like Lil Michael.
It is National Cheese Day. Okay, donuts and cheese. Sure, why not?
Yeah.
It is National Safe Day. I don't know if that's to be safe or to own a safe that you stick papers in. It is Shopping Cart Day. And finally, it is Old Maids Day. So go celebrate all those old maids.
All stupid days.
Aside from National Donut Day. I'm behind.
Yeah, just celebrate Donut Day and have a great day.
Exactly. Well, folks, that does it for the week. We will be back on Monday with a brand new episode. Enjoy your weekend. We will see you all then.
Go Avs. Peace.